The human heart. Learning objective. Explain how the heart works. The human heart. The human heart is a hollow muscular organ about the size of your fist. It is a double pump that pumps on the left and the right side. So this is how a human heart looks like. And these are the parts of the human heart. First, the superior vena cava, the pulmonary vein, the right atrium, pulmonary valve, tricuspid valve, inferior vena cava, right ventricle, aorta, pulmonary artery, left atrium, mitral valve, aortic valve, and the left ventricle. So this makes up the human heart. The human heart has 4 chambers, namely the 2 atria, which is at the upper part of the heart, the right atrium and the left atrium. These are called as the receiving chambers of the heart. And on the lower part is what we call as the 2 ventricles, mainly the right ventricle and the left ventricle. And it is also called as the pumping chambers of the heart. Atria. There are 2 atria of the heart, and they are called as the receiving chambers. They receive blood coming in from the veins. The first atrium is the right atrium. It accepts blood from the body. And the left atrium accepts blood from the lungs. So both the right and the left atrium are the receiving chambers. The lower part of the heart is what we call as the ventricles, or the pumping chambers of the heart. There are 2 ventricles, the right and the left ventricle. The right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs, and the left ventricle pumps blood into the body, in which it receives blood from the right ventricle. If there are 4 chambers of the heart, we also have 4 valves of the heart, namely the tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve. The tricuspid valve and the pulmonary valve separates the right atrium and the right ventricle, which it makes up the right side of our heart. The mitral valve and the aortic valve separates the left atrium and the left ventricle, makes up the left side of the heart. So always remember, your tricuspid valve and your pulmonary valve is on the right side of the heart, and your mitral valve and your aortic valve is at the left side of the heart. Going into the heart. Blood without oxygen comes into the heart through a vein. It goes into the first chamber called the right atrium. It then goes through an opening called the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. From there, it is pumped to the lungs to collect some oxygen. Coming out of the heart. Blood with oxygen comes back to the heart from the lungs. It goes into the left atrium. It then goes through an opening called a valve into the left ventricle. From there, it is pumped away from the heart and all around the body through a very special artery called the aorta. All of the muscle tissues of the heart do not contract At the same time, different parts of the heart contract at different times. When the top portion contracts, the bottom part relaxes. When the bottom contracts, the top relaxes. When a chamber contracts, it becomes smaller and the blood inside gets squeezed or pumped out. So this is how the human heart works. Thank you for watching. This has been your teacher, Kathy, and see you again on our next topic.